Hello? Hello, can everybody hear me? Hello, hello? All right, everybody, we're gonna get started. Hello? If you can hear me, raise your hands. Woo, okay, we don't have a lot of people today, so can I please have everybody move up to the front? I know nobody likes to sit in the front, but like, please. I won't bite, I promise. I see 3 people sitting in the back. Can you guys move up to the front, please? There's 3 rows, completely empty. All right, thanks. All right, how's everybody doing today? It doesn't seem too good. Let's try this again. How's everybody doing today? All right, good. Okay, before we start, I'd like to invite our CEO, Daniel Lin, up for a couple of words. Let's give him a round of applause.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to FutureWard. We are a co-working space, but much more than that. We have a lot of events like these, and then designed the space to be a soft landing pad for international startups, because we want to create these global linkages and to be able to invite a lot of entrepreneurs to Taiwan to experience what Taiwan has to offer, because there's a lot of resources here that we've been trying to integrate and be able to provide easy access to while expats come to Taiwan. So if you need any more information, or we'll probably do a tour after this, please let us know at the front desk, and we will have some refreshments and snacks afterwards for the networking. So please stick around for that. So again, welcome everybody.
Okay, thank you, Dan. So before we get to our main event, we have a really special short sharing by Pakpo Box. They are a startup group from Hong Kong, and it just flew in last night, so let's give a big round of applause to Matt.
Hi, my name is Matt. I'm from Pakpo Box. Thank you for the invite from John and Daniel. We met last week, and he was telling us, hey, we have this fantastic space, and we'd love to have you talk in this event. And my partner and I thought that, okay, well, it would be good to come and visit and check out the space, because Taiwan is definitely a market that we, as a company, are looking at as well. So what is Pakpo Box? Let me tell you a short story. I have 10 minutes. I have 27 slides, so I'm going to cut it down. The story is this. 3 years ago, my partner's family company is actually a logistic company. What they do is do last mile courier service. And at the time, Taobao.com came to Hong Kong, and they asked one question. Hey, can you do 50,000 parcel delivery on a daily basis? At the time, the company has 300 couriers, and we're generating around 10,000, doing 10,000 parcels per day. So the problem is that how can we hire 5-fold of people to accommodate such demand? And the answer is we couldn't, especially in Hong Kong. Human capitals are expensive, and e-commerce are growing. This is what we see. And this is exactly the reason why we started this business, which is servicing the last mile delivery capacity issue. What is Pakpo Box? Pakpo Box is a network of smart lockers that connects people, our customers, to shop globally and collect locally in one of our lockers. What makes it smart is our integration. Here today, in our operating network in Hong Kong, you can buy from Amazon in the States, Taobao in China, Rakuten in Japan, and collect it locally in one of our lockers. But we don't only do logistics. We have also integrated our lifestyle services to our lockers, and one of the most notable services, dry cleaning and laundry service. So today, you can place your dry cleaning, your laundry into one of our lockers, and we will have it washed and pressed and returned to you. Smart lockers. It's actually is very popular right now. It's in fact all over the world. North America is a very mature market. Amazon have over 18,000 locations just in the States alone, and not to mention in the UK. UPS itself has around 300 locations. And let's bring it back closer to us, Singapore. Singapore has around 148 locations with Singapore Post. And Hong Kong Post, who are one of our clients, they have installed the first 13 locations, and we're rolling out the phase 2 and phase 3 as we speak today. How does it work? Very simple. You shop at the site that you wanted to buy or purchase. When you check out, instead of filling in your delivery address, you choose a location that you want to pick up your parcel. And when the parcel is in the locker, you get an SMS code, you collect it from the pre-selected location. As discussed earlier, this structure is what makes it smart. Our lockers service partner offer the virtual address service. This is how we integrate it to multiple platforms. Because, for example, Amazon lockers today, right? They service Amazon.com purchases, fulfillment by Amazon.com, and then the last mile delivery being done in the Amazon lockers. Our goal here is to create a locker network that can integrate with multiple logistic operators, e-merchants, and expand our network to this place where we get closer to our customers. So here we go. Our integration is about integrating with our customers, getting closer to them and offering more websites and giving back that control to our customers so they can collect at their convenience rather than waiting for delivery, which is something of a huge problem at any vertical city such as Hong Kong and Singapore. I'm not going to go over this case study because it's in the Hong Kong location, you probably wouldn't know. But that is one of the best locations under our portfolio. What you see in this photo is that that locker is in between 2 blocks, servicing around 500 flats. And it has a very high utilization rate. It generates over 500 parcels, even more now actually, going over 1,000 right now. And we only installed this place for less than 2 months. That's reaching around 40% utilization. Laundry service. How does that work? Again, today, I don't see one gentleman here wearing a suit. You can place your suit into a dry cleaning column, pay, we will take it to a central factory, and then have it dry cleaned, returned to you, SMS you pick up at your convenience. This is another example that we have. This is actually located in one of the residential area, which is very secluded. How secluded? When you need to go to the nearest supermarket or convenience store, you need to drive at least 5 to 8 minutes in order to get to the nearest convenience store. That's how secluded it is. But it's considered one of the luxury complex in Hong Kong. And property management there see a problem. The residents are looking for services, and not that they don't want to provide it, they don't want to take care of that responsibility. So we offer such automated service to help integrate this service for them so the residents can enjoy this service. And we continue to see this demand given the fact that there are micro flats being built as we speak in Hong Kong, and there are coin laundries every other corner that you see right now in Hong Kong. So a lot more automated services coming through from us. Security measures are very straightforward. We have 24-hour surveillance in our lockers for our services. We also have a track and trace process in that regards. And I'm going to through this page because I want to get to a better point of our timeline so far. So we started this company in November 2014. The first locker took us a year to negotiate with our landlord because nobody knew what a smart locker is. And then when we got it, we got our e-commerce partner, Yahoo Hong Kong. And at that time, it was just Yahoo Locker, and it was beautiful. And then through that, we also secured our first government contract, which is with Hong Kong Post. And by 2016, we generated over 1.5 million US dollars in revenue. And we recently finished an accelerator program in Hong Kong, and we're going through a fundraising at this current moment. We have term sheets being offered to us, and we are hopefully, when we return, we will secure our first pre-Series A round fundraising. So how can we gain this traction? And what is a changing point to our portfolio during our 3 years? It's not only the government contracts that given us the edge and giving us approval on our service standard, but our partner, one of our partners, 4PX Express, has invested in us as like a friends and family round, a small round. So what does 4PX do is that they actually invested by Cainiao. Cainiao is an logistic arm of Alibaba, and with their investment, we are now directly integrated to their website, which is a lot easier for our customer, for the whole user experience. So today, when you check out, you really can click one of our lockers, and then you just pay for the logistic fee and to collect a locker that you selected. What's the difference with that investment? Our biggest competitor is Shunfeng. They are, I would say, in Asia, the largest, one of the largest logistic company, and they also have their own locker network. They have over 180 locations, specifically just in the small city of Hong Kong. But what you can see here is that with our partnership, we're able to lower their price by at least 46% in comparison to our biggest competitor. And people are starting to switch to our service because it's the same experience. But also we offer more. We offer more in terms of lifestyle services. One of the reasons why I'm in Taiwan today is because of the government tender. Like I discussed earlier, we're currently supplying our locker solution to Hong Kong Post, Maldives Post, Macau Post, and we're finalizing a contract with Post Malaysia. And we are anticipating the tender for Taiwan Post as well. And that tender is going to be, we will know all the result in September. So hopefully you'll see more of these lockers in Taiwan as well, and it'll be supplied by Box. But the future, what do we really truly see? Today I'm calling this still a parcel locker solution, but in the future, what we do as a team is to increase the network by by integrating other services. What we see is that this is an intermediary platform to get closer to our customers. You know, retail is changing. You know, specifically in Hong Kong, high rental price is an issue. High OpEx is something that people are trying to walk away from, and it's starting to turn. Retail is turning into like a marketing campaign. So having a shop is more like a showroom. I don't expect business to be done there. Business will be done online. This is the thing, and but the thing with that being said is that we need to be able to offer more services, and by increasing our network, having the network effect, when I get closer to our customers, I can also offer you power banks. Or if your phone is dead today, you can just go to my locker and get yourself a power bank and get it charged up. What if you're traveling from Taiwan to Hong Kong and then you don't know how to get a SIM card? I cannot get you the Wi-Fi 8. And then what if in one of the malls, one of the tourists are shopping in the mall? Mobile, can I place my storage locker? Place my luggage in there. These are the things that we're currently looking at, and we know for a fact that once we have that locker network that will hit the critical mass, we will be able to actualize. But one thing that we are very proud of, and we want to finish on the note of, is the app. We will be discussing about that, which is something a model that we're trying to do. You know, accessing our lockers through the app, just like the bike. We're trying to convert all of our offline traffic into our member system, so our clients can access the locker through the application, and then I will know their shopping behavior and collection behavior. These are data that is crucial, and a lot of our investors and strategic partners are really looking forward to. And this will come along very soon, and hopefully we can bring this to Taiwan at some point. That's about it. My name is Matt. I'm open to any questions that you might have, and maybe we can talk about that later after this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matt. Like he said, if you guys have any other questions about Box, please hang out after the talk. He'll be here, and you can ask him all the questions that you want. So now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming the co-founder and CTO of Wemo. And he even he bought a Wemo scooter right here, so maybe he'll let you guys try it out or something. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Cheng.
Okay, thank you. Give me 1 second as I set up. Okay, I'll start by giving a little bit of background on me. My name's Jay. I graduated out of USC as an electrical engineer. I've been manufacturing computer networking products for the last 20 years. This is my 4th startup. The other 3 are still there. If anyone's curious, the other 3 are still there. Okay, but basically what we're doing at Wemo is an on-demand scooter rental system. I'm one of the co-founders. I was not one of the founders that came up with this idea, because honestly, when I was approached to implement this idea, I thought it was crazy. But what does it mean by an on-demand scooter rental system? So what it is our scooters are basically located anywhere in Taipei City. They can park in any public parking spot, and through the app, you can find the scooter, rent it, ride it, and return it. Okay. So obviously a lot of development went into our app, a lot of development went into the system. I'll cover a little bit more of that in a second. But all the control functions on the scooter itself are done through the application. One of the things that the CEO, Jeffrey, asked me when we wanted to create the service was, he said, I want this to be the future. I want it to feel futuristic. And oh my gosh, that's really hard to do. Okay. We have seen other scooter rental systems around the world that use lock boxes, that have used codes, passwords, QR codes. No, we didn't want any of that. We want it to be completely just application controlled. Okay. It makes us a green sharing solution. We decided to go with an electric scooter rather than gas scooters. We have our service is available 24 hours a day because it's completely app controlled. And the free flow model that we have implemented is what makes us stand out from all the other scooter rental systems that are on the market around the world today, which is the scooters can be parked in any legal parking spot around the city and returned to any legal parking spot around the city. Okay. So, let me see. Okay. We have an operating area in Taipei covering 7 districts of Taipei. Okay. The only reason for the operating area is because we have 200 scooters currently available. In order to keep a certain number of scooters in a certain area, we require users to rent and return in the operating area. Okay, that doesn't mean you can't ride outside of the operating area. It means you're not allowed to return the scooter from the service outside of the operating area. Okay, so if you look at this is our usage model for 1 week in May. This is all the places our scooters went 1 week in May. You can see a lot of people rode outside of Taipei, outside of our main operating zone, which is fine. They made it back okay. They returned the scooter okay in Taipei City, and it's okay. Something interesting about our rental model. Okay, when a lot of people come up to us and ask, "What's our day rate? What's our half a day rate?" We don't have a day rate or a half a day rate. Okay, our users usually rent the scooter for under 20 minutes. Okay, if you've ever rode a scooter in Taipei, you can probably get to anywhere you want to go in Taipei in under 20 minutes. Okay, usually you can get there within 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, so these are single trip rentals. If I wanted to go have lunch with people, I rent the scooter, get to the restaurant, I return the scooter at the restaurant. I have my lunch. When I come out, I will rent the scooter, maybe the same scooter, maybe a different scooter, when I come out, and then ride that back to work. Okay, so, we'll start out with why scooters. All right, when we created this, why did we focus on scooters? Well, if you look at the, transportation method of Taipei, the rapid transit system, and that stands for 18%. Our public bus system stands for about 15%. Cars stand for 21%. So basically, if you add both rapid transit and bus, all of our public transportation system together, you're looking at, 32%, 33%. 36% of people travel on scooters. Okay, so this is a market that, when we looked at it, was greatly untapped. The scooter utilization rate in Taipei is estimated at 3.27%. Okay, what does that mean? That means for close to 97% of the life of a scooter, it's parked. It's taking up city parking, it's taking up roadside parking, and no one's using it. Okay, this rate is the utilization rate's much lower than a car, because when you drive a car, you're usually going to some place that will take you maybe 30 to 40 minutes. But when you're on a scooter, again, normal travel time, 10 to 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If anyone's ridden a scooter for 40 minutes, you start getting backaches. So, especially on gas scooters, because they vibrate. So basically, scooter utilization rate's really, really low, which makes it a perfect market for shared economy. All right, and why would we go electric? We could have gone gas. Okay, well, part of the reason is obviously electric vehicles are they're more they're greener, they're more quiet. There's all these other reasons, but one of the things we really wanted to do was we wanted to help a city improve the city's kind of quality of life. All right, and scooters are a big form of not only air pollution but also noise pollution. All right, but electric vehicles haven't been very popular overall. The private sales of electric vehicles is still relatively low. Even Tesla's come out and said, we wouldn't be making money if we weren't backed by the government. Okay, so without government subsidies, it's really hard to push the electric vehicle market. Because when you want to own a private vehicle, you look at certain things. You look at the cost of the vehicle. All right, so what can I afford? Can I afford a $40,000 car? Or can I afford a $100,000 car? You look at the features of the vehicle, how many people I need to move around. Right? And then when you look at the emotion, the marketing emotion that all these car companies have put in, like, do I want to drive an SUV so I feel like an outdoors type of person? All right, so this is what goes into private vehicle sales. But when we look at public forms of transportation, which is what we're trying to create, you look at something different. You look at cost, but you're looking at more, at least in Taiwan, you're looking at more in the 20 NT to 100 NT range. All right, comfort-wise, it's a different level of comfort. Do you have air conditioning, for example, and convenience? All right, so when we look at all different types of public transportation, we try to balance these items out, and we say, okay, the rapid transit system, it's comfortable. It costs actually pretty low, but the problem is it's not very convenient. All right, the average travel time for you to take a rapid transit, to take the MRT, is usually around 30 to 40 minutes. Okay, then you look at the bus system, and that's cheap and convenient because there's bus stops everywhere, but it's not as comfortable. Okay, you have to weave through city traffic. You have a lot of crazy drivers, yes. You look at the U-bike system, which is extremely convenient, very cost-friendly, but very uncomfortable relatively. Like if you tried, some of my team rode here on U-bikes today. I feel bad for them. Okay. They rode here because they're too young to ride motorcycles, just FYI. Okay. The taxis. Taxis are very comfortable. They're very convenient, but they're also very expensive. Okay. So we felt that the electric scooter kind of fit in this model very, very well. All right, it hits the sweet spot as far as it's a form of rental system that is that hasn't become a public form of transportation yet. No one's actually said, okay, let's take scooters and make them public. Okay, so on the comfort level, well, electric scooters, they use an electric motor, barely any sound. There's no air pollution. Okay. When you're parked at a red light, you kind of feel like kicking the person in front of you because you're like, I'm saving the environment, but you're just blowing pollution in my face. Cost. Our cost was just updated, so this is a little bit, our cost is just updating next week, but we're at 2.5 NT a minute for the first 10 minutes minimum, so we charge 25 NT when you use the service. After minute 11, minute 12, that's 2.5 NT a minute after that. Okay. We just recently dropped this down to 6 minutes, so it's even cheaper for the initial 6 minutes of rental. This is the regular price. Our student price is 1.5 NT a minute, which is even lower. Okay, so our cost currently is between 1.5 and 2.5 NT. We've gotten emails from our users, okay, student users, okay, being Taiwanese, they're very cost conscious, so they're like, if I ride your scooter at 1.5 NT a minute for the first 10 minutes, and I carry a passenger, it's cheaper than the bus. But when I hit minute 12, it's more expensive. Is there any way we can fix that? We've gotten emails from customers like that. Okay. Very cost conscious. Convenience. Riding a scooter is one of the most convenient methods of getting around Taipei City. I didn't know that before I started at Wemo. I could ride a scooter, but I drove or took the MRT to most places. Now I realize that I can actually get to places in 20 minutes, versus half an hour to 40 minutes. Okay, so everyone wants to know how we built it and how everything was created, so I will try to cover as much as possible without giving away too many secrets. Okay, so our first year development time is actually quite amazing. This is something I'm very proud about. The company itself was established in 2015. So Wemo was incorporated on October 26, 2015. We launched operations in October 7th, 2016. In 2015, we didn't have a scooter. We didn't have any software developed. We didn't even have a software team. Okay, so my hardware is in background, so obviously we started with a hardware prototype. We built it out of I think it was an Arduino and a cell phone. Okay, so we started there. That was in January. By March, we were finalizing our hardware specifications, what we would like the hardware to be. And in October, we had first production hardware completed, and we launched in October. So that includes the backend, that includes the server, that includes the user applications on iOS. Okay, sorry, iOS was a little bit later. We didn't launch iOS until December, but on Android, Android was there in October. Okay, so we launched everything in that short 1 year. And this is one of the things I really want to push all startups to try to do. Okay, set that barrier up as quickly as possible, in as short of time as possible. Okay, don't create some artificial barriers for yourself saying that you can't achieve these. You want to develop something, develop it quickly. Okay, so, all right, scooter specifications. So when we were trying to decide on a scooter, first we wanted it to be Taiwan made because we were a Taiwan company and we would like everything to be made in Taiwan. We saw Kimco as a good partner in this. A lot of people asked, they did not invest in us. We are literally just a customer of theirs. We just buy their scooters. There is a lot of customization that goes in to customizing this scooter to meet our specifications on the electrical side. The max speed of the scooter is 67 kilometers per hour. We don't need to develop a race car. We just need to get people around the city. So 67 is more than enough. Our average ride speed is around 45 kilometers per hour. So it's more than enough. Our distance per charge is 40 kilometers. So every 40 kilometers, we need to recharge the scooter battery. Now, this was a challenge for us in the beginning because everyone's like, well, then we need charging stations and we need all these other things. No, we send people out to change batteries. Okay. That might sound crazy in the beginning, but when you really think about how the way Taipei City is, it's not that much area. Like if we were going to do this in Los Angeles, I'd be like, oh, that's impossible. Okay, but in Taipei is very centralized. It's not that bad. Okay, so when people come to me and go, so what happens when I want to ride more than 40 kilometers? Well, I have around 200 scooters for you to rent in the city. Okay, so if you really wanted to ride, to test what our actual ride distance is for our service, you'd have to take 200 scooters and multiply by 40 kilometers per each scooter. Because you can literally return a scooter and rent the next one. Okay, and that's actually a feature that we're trying to develop right now on the application side, so we don't double charge you. Okay, right now when you ride our scooter, you get charged for that minimum 10 minutes, and then you turn it and you rent the next scooter, you have to charge that minimum 10 minutes again. No, we're actually trying to develop it so that you can swap scooters if necessary. Okay. Passengers. This was a very important feature that we wanted on our scooter. We wanted to be able to carry a person. So a lot of people ask me, why didn't we choose like a Gogoro scooter, which is very pretty and nice and all this other stuff. And we basically did it mainly because of the passenger capacity and the helmet capacity of the scooter itself. In order to carry one person, we need to carry an extra helmet, which means our storage compartment needs to be able to fit 2 Wemo helmets. Okay. Oh, so we chose a scooter based off of a large trunk. We liked the scooter also because it had a 50cc license plate. It's the green license plate that you see. What's interesting about regulations is this scooter actually accelerates faster than 100cc scooters, but it's classified as a 50cc scooter mainly because of speed. The max speed is under 70 kilometers per hour, which again, in the city, we don't want our users to be racing with our scooters. You know, Avis is not going to go out and start renting Porsches to everybody. All right, we want the Toyota of scooters, and this is what we felt was the Toyota of scooters. We have USB charging on our scooter. Since everything's done via the application, we need to make sure that the customer can turn and return the scooter with enough battery. So while you're using our scooter, you can also charge off of our scooter. All right, we have our applications on iOS and Android. Our registration process is completely done via the application. So you download the app, you fill out your information, you need to take photos of both of your IDs, both your driver's license and your ID. We require you to take a selfie, just so we know you're the one filling out the information. You would be surprised how many people take a selfie of a photo. Okay, it's like, we can tell it's a photo. Okay, a photo of a photo. So, and then you choose your payment method. We have 2 payment methods, credit card, and we have a Wemo wallet. So you can go to 7-Eleven, recharge your wallet. This is also because, again, Taiwanese people aren't very, they don't like credit cards a lot. I don't know why. Okay, I'm actually a US citizen. I'm from the States. I love credit cards. I don't understand why cash exists. I don't understand why the 1 cent or the 1 NT exists. Okay. So anyway, you know, so we have the Wemo wallet so people can put money in and then charge based off of that. Everyone wants to know what we put in the scooter. Okay, we have a black box we put in the scooter. Okay, this requires modification of the electrical systems in the scooter because we read everything, all data off the scooter. Okay, rotational speed of the wheels, temperature of the battery, all this information we have. All right, the box itself can be controlled via the application, but we do not have a direct connection between the user app and the scooter. Okay, so a lot of people always go, oh, why didn't you use Bluetooth and just have the user connect to the scooter? No, we don't do that. Okay, everything's controlled through our back end. Our system architecture. So we have our black box that exists on the scooter, collecting data, collecting user ride info. We can know if the scooter's been in an accident. We know if the scooter's standing up, lying down after a typhoon. Then we have the user application that controls this. All of that is piped into our cloud service, our IoT cloud service, and that's connected to a third-party payment system. This is also connected to our back-end maintenance system. Okay, so we actually have a customer service system and a maintenance application that's used to maintain our scooters. Any problem that a customer is experiencing is reported through our service console. Replied on, our maintenance people can go out and inspect to make sure that that's the situation, and we can send our repair and maintenance teams out to repair and maintain the scooter. The fact that we have to replace batteries means that no scooter is left untouched for more than 3 or 4 days. Okay, that's not the standby time of our battery. Okay, that's just, on average right now, each scooter is used maybe 2 to 3 times a day. So basically in about 2 to 3 days, we need to go out for a battery swap. When the battery swap occurs, we maintain the scooter. We make sure there's enough tire pressure in the tires. We make sure the lights work. We make sure the seats are okay. All right, we're even, making sure that the helmet quality is okay at this point in time. Like, they don't smell because of the rain, things like that. Okay. So a lot of people ask me, what kind of company is Wemo? Okay. We actually develop our own hardware. Black Box is completely developed internally to Wemo. We develop our own cloud, our IoT systems completely internal to us too. The scooter modifications are all done by us. We developed our own application. We basically do all these different things because right now, in order for you to create a shared economy system, you pretty much have to cover everything. Okay, and by covering everything, our goal is mainly to provide a better service to our customer. Okay, it seems like a very simple thing. Walk up with an application, rent a scooter, and go. Okay, but there's always a lot of complications in that. All right, one of our biggest complications is obviously GPS positioning. I admit that that's a problem that we still have. It's something that we're improving on, but it's something there's physics involved that we cannot get over. All right, so we're trying to improve more and more the ability for people to find a scooter. Okay, and we want people to feel like they can rely on our service to go to work, to take your kids to school, things like that. Okay. All right, so improving quality of life overall. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If anyone has any questions, I think we have a Q&A session later, or is it now?
Yes, we have a Q&A session right now. So
Okay.
Anybody have any questions?
Okay, yeah. In dense urban environments, especially like Xingyi district with a lot of tall buildings, glass buildings, GPS signals can be reflected. Right. If we purely rely on the scooter's GPS, which we're relying less and less on, there's no way to guarantee 100% accuracy. Yes. Yes, correct. So when you try to find it on the app, right now we're good up to maybe about 50 to 100 meters. Okay, but our customers still complain. They want to get to where they're going. When your travel time is 10 minutes and it takes you 10 minutes to find the scooter, that's already your travel time right there. We recently implemented a feature that a lot of our customers have been asking for, which is we can flash the lights on the scooter when you're looking for the scooter. Okay, so when you're searching for the scooter, you can just flash the lights. Some people ask for horn. I'm pretty sure the city will not appreciate if we start beeping our scooters. So we did the light flashing feature, which a lot of people were very thankful of. Yeah. We're starting to collect some user app GPS information, which we didn't do initially. That was due to launch. That wasn't due to planning. Okay, so we can compare.
The user's mobile phone?
Yes.
Right.
So we can understand if the user's next to the scooter at the time of the return. That helps improve our GPS accuracy. It also helps us diagnose and troubleshoot to see how more accurate we need to get, how we need to improve our accuracy. We're also adding features such as when maintenance crews go out, they can recenter the GPS location of the scooter. Okay, so these are all things that we're trying to do to try to improve our system. When we launched, I always like to follow the 80% model. As long as 80% of everything is working, we can launch. Okay, because trying to reach 100% is a waste of resources. Yeah. Okay, so these are all features that we wanted during launch, but we didn't have. We knew what our launch date window was. We wanted to launch in a year. We needed to prove our model to the world that this is something that can work. Okay. Right now we're at 200 scooters. We're going to be at 1,200 scooters by the end of the year.
And how many people does it take to locate and swap all the batteries out? Is that cost effective?
For us, we break it down. Okay, so we have regional people that go out and do the service for us. It's not their full-time job yet. Once we have the economy of scale, then we'll have people that are dedicated to this. Yeah. Manpower is low cost in Taipei, in Taiwan overall. So This is something that we're trying to utilize. The strength of Taiwan, you have very educated yet very low cost workforce. Yeah. So that's part of why this model works here. It might work in most of Southeast Asia. If we started exporting to Europe, we might have to find other models. Mm-hmm. What's beautiful about what we're doing is we can start from a free flow system of battery swaps and things like that, and move to charging stations later. Okay, because we can always offer benefits to customers. If you stop at a charging station, I'll give you 10% off, something like that. So it's always easier to start from the harder, the more difficult free flow side, and then move towards charging. And one of the restrictions that we have right now on our scooters is you have to be parked on a surface parking spot. Most government-run parking spots are all street level, but we can't park in parking garages yet, and we will start enabling that next year.
Okay.
So I was looking at the timeline for when you guys incorporated to when you guys launched, and to me that's really impressive to do all that within 1 year. So I was wondering, like, what do you consider were the success factors to lead you to a successful startup, like within 1 year?
Okay. Part of it is a good understanding of what the manufacturing process is, understanding that you have to make compromises when you move forward. I find that a lot of startups, a lot of requirements seem very static. They go, okay, well, we need this, period. And realistically, you have to sit down and say, okay, well, what's actually important to me? How well you can work with your vendor, your manufacturer is also very, very important. We don't need to spend too much time challenging the manufacturers. I've done manufacturing, as I mentioned, for 20 years. I've had customers come up to me and say, hey, Jay, I need to redesign this power supply because I don't like the engineering done now, like the way it's done right now. And I always ask the question, well, we're going to increase our risk factors by doing it your way. And they'll be like, okay, well, I don't care. That product was delayed by 2 years over that power supply. Personally, that's not my company. That was my customer. But at the same time, I'm like, why are you delaying a product launch by 2 years just because your CTO says, I don't like the design as much. It's not as pretty. I find that a lot of these problems occur, especially in the manufacturing side. There's a lot of things you really insist on. And you have to really think about, like, when you launch the product, what are the things you need? What's the minimum requirement, especially on the hardware side? And what compromises do you have to make? I didn't choose the smallest or best CPU. I chose the one that was easily sourced. I chose the vendor that could give me the most support in the shortest amount of time. And then we worked around that. Okay, I asked if they had local inventory of the processor. Okay, so, I think those are all elements that you have to incorporate when you're planning your project. Okay, it's always a little bit difficult. Start your hardware sourcing early. Hardware always takes longer than you think. Okay, so I originally targeted the hardware to be launched in 4 months. It took us 8. Okay, but I already had that 4-month time frame drawn out. I knew that it would be delayed to 8.
Hi. Have you guys identified what other markets are similar to Taipei in terms of where else you could possibly roll out Wemo in the world? And if you have, like, where are they? I'm just curious if you guys.
Okay. Yeah. Indonesia, Vietnam. There's similar services in Europe, and what a lot of people like about Europe is you can rent a scooter for as much as you're renting a car, which is interesting. That market doesn't exist here, but the cost of renting a scooter in Europe is acceptable to be at the same rate as a car. So if you look at the startups for this type of scooter sharing system, a lot of the startups exist in Europe, but a lot of them are struggling because the manpower costs are high. Okay, so we don't have that problem here. Taiwan has a very good density of scooters. Our goal is not to do. A lot of people always ask me this question. A lot of people, they always ask if we want to do tourists. Okay, and it's a good question because that's usually the first market you look for because tourists are always looking for a mode of transportation. And honestly, we don't really support tourists right now. We had a few of the crew from Cirque du Soleil stop by last week. It's very cool. And Cirque du Soleil is doing a performance in Taipei, and they wanted to rent scooters from us for 3 days. We're like, oh, we can't do that. We don't have a model that works for 3 days. Our scooters ride for 40 kilometers. That's not enough for 3 days of travel, and especially if you want to leave the city. So we had to forward them to another regular gasoline scooter rental service. So our goal is not to replace existing rental services. We're trying to offer a new form of public transportation. Okay, so yeah, anyway, that answers your question.
Thank you.
Taipei local government?
Oh, okay. So I will give our CEO a lot of credit for this. Our CEO, before we even started the company, when they came up with the idea, they already started talking to the city government about it. And we didn't get a disapproval, but they didn't support us at all. Right. Okay, but they didn't stop us. And they gave us some requirements, like, for example, on the ID side. For car rental in Taiwan, you require 2 forms of identification. For scooter rental, you don't need to identify yourself. Mm-hmm. You can rent a scooter without any identification, only because the laws aren't there for that sort of thing. So we ended up choosing kind of the strictest process to go implement our service. We guaranteed the city government by saying, okay, well, we will have forms of ID. We will verify that with the government to make sure that the IDs are valid. We will also offer insurance on all of our scooters. So we offer full insurance for that 25 MT. All right, so the rider insurance on scooters is not the same as car insurance. For the rider, it's the same, but we can't insure the scooter. Scooters can't be insured in Taiwan. Okay, there's just no insurance package for that. But overall, there's 4 different types of insurances that scooter riders can get from rental companies. We offer all 4 automatically when you rent the scooter. Okay, so.
And all the data that you're pulling off your system, what's the real value of that to you?
As an example, one of the services that we're working with the Taipei city government on is because we can detect bumps in the road, we can detect where there are potholes in the city. Mm-hmm. So we can collect pothole data almost live. After a storm, after a typhoon, there's always new potholes. And we can feed that data back, we can filter it. One of the problems with pothole data is you don't know if you're going on a curb or if you're going over a grate. But if 10 scooters pass by and 10 scooters all have this very strong jolt, you can say, okay, well, there's a hole there. Then we can inform the city government to go repair the hole. So that's a service that we're working with the city government on right now.
And they'll pay for that kind of data?
They will pay for the data, yes. Okay, and there's always the goodwill. There's always the goodwill between us and the city government, right? So Taipei City has been very, I wouldn't say overly welcoming, but they've been okay with us being here. And we've tried to work with them continuously. They know our plans to hit 1,200 scooters in the city. So.
Any other questions? Anyone?
You have to put all this together.
Oh, okay. Okay, our team we're at 25 people right now, today. That includes marketing, operations. We have a lot of part-time students that handle some marketing and operations activities. Our engineering team right now is around 15 people. We started with 2. Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was a bit of outsourcing in the beginning, but then all of our development resources have been pulled internally since then. So.
One of the problems the dockless bicycles are having is a problem with illegal parking. You guys got any way to address that?
Okay. Okay, so with the bike sharing services currently available in Taipei, one of the problems they're bumping into, I think, is a PR issue. They're not doing anything illegal. You can park bicycles in scooter parking. The problem is the scooter people are going to complain, right? And when they complain, the city is going to have to do something about it. So they can say, okay, well, then you're no longer allowed to park in these spaces. We went into this with the city government saying that we would like to do this. They understand that we are going to be parking in public parking spaces. We are being charged for the public parking spaces the same way everyone else is. So legally we are there. We're okay with being there. We're not We're not angering any other group of people. So I think the problem with the bicycle market is that when they start taking up scooter parking resources, scooter people are looking at it like, well, there's not enough scooter parking spaces in Taipei already. And you're taking this resource away from us. Okay. What we're trying to offer is a service to scooter riders to say, okay, instead of riding your own scooter out, you can ride one of our scooters. Instead of worrying if it's going to rain later, you can ride one of our scooters now and take the MRT later when it rains. Okay, so we're basically selling to the group of people that are taking up these spaces anyways. We're not getting as big of a blowback versus what the bike community is bumping into. Now.
Some parking spots in public parking are free, and some they charge you. Are people allowed to put it back in a paid parking spot?
Of course, we don't prefer them parking in a paid parking spot, but there's nothing we can do to control that. So when our service first launched in October, I was telling people, ride a scooter to your house and make sure there's a legal parking spot there. Park 1 or 2 scooters there, because basically the usage rate wasn't as high then. So you'll have 2 private scooters there that are continuously charged at that time. Okay, one of our users took that to heart. Every week he parks 7 scooters in front of his house. So we always have to send people out to move those scooters around, but it's one of those things where I think I think that we've offered a very, very strong service for this community. So,
anyone else?
You were saying you're going to expand to 1,200 scooters.
Yes.
Question is, how do you do your maintenance?
With a lot of people. So there's no easy way around it. We have multiple operating. We split Taipei up into, I think, close to 60 zones, and we have each zone serviced by specific people. A lot of things we do is we use the existing scooter kind of economy that's already there to support the electric scooters that we have.
So I think you just say you have 25 manpower team, right?
Yes.
Is that including all the service?
No,
swapping?
A majority of the maintenance is outsourced. Okay, so there is a real issue when you look at electric vehicle economies. Okay, this doesn't exist for companies like Tesla or Gogoro, but let's say Toyota wanted to go heavy into electric cars. Who's going to support those cars? All the mechanics you have are used to gasoline engines. They're not used to electric vehicles. So it makes sense for a company like Toyota to say, I'm going to invest in hybrids, because it's a good time for people to learn how electric vehicles work. Okay, so it's the same for the scooter market. Okay, so we're allowing scooter repair shops, things like that, to contract with us to do these repairs, rentals, and maintenance, and it helps them move on into the electric scooter market. Okay, because no one else has that economy scale to say, okay, well, I need to service electric scooters, except for Gogoro, again.
One more question.
Yeah.
Is there an optimum usage rate per day that you're shooting for?
I think we're shooting for 6 rentals a day per scooter. That's our target.
Is it because the swapping, you need to do one swap?
Quite honestly, I don't really know. Our CEO gave me that requirement. We are supposed to try to hit 6. No, so I believe that's kind of it's a good break-even point for us. We decide we feel that 6 rentals a day per scooter is enough to keep us even on operating costs.
But it sounds like you need to have more batteries if you're going to do more swaps.
Yeah, we definitely have more batteries than scooters.
Okay. No, I'm saying if you go from now to 6 usage per day.
Yes.
That means you need to carry more batteries.
Not necessarily, because again, each ride is usually around 10 kilometers. We already anticipate we want our scooters to at least have 1 swap a day, at least. We would like to do 2 swaps a day, because that means people are actually using it. Okay, we'd rather have the scooter run out of battery because of usage and not because it's on standby. We're at around 3.5 uses a day right now with 200 scooters. And the largest complaint that we get is there aren't enough scooters, or the service is not in my area. I live in Shiling. Our service is not in Shiling. It's very frustrating for me. Okay, I want to use our service, but anyway. So we want to expand. The 7 districts is not enough. We need to expand outside. A lot of people in New Taipei City want to use our service, and they can't. So it's really funny because on certain days, like Thursdays, if you look at our scooter distribution, you'll notice that all our scooters end up going to all the MRT stations on the outskirts of Taipei. They all kind of collect there. And that's because by Thursday, a lot of people are already using our scooters from New Taipei City to take the MRT into the city and then swap to our scooter service inside the city.
Sorry. Do you guys maintain only batteries that's been depleted, or do you guys have an estimate around maybe 1/3 or the battery's gone?
Yeah, this is something that we're not doing a very good job of displaying it to users. So if you look at our application shows how much battery life is left in a scooter with a circle. And when you look at it, it's like you could have a half, a quarter, 3/4 of a battery left. But that's actually estimated from 40% of the battery right now. So we actually bring the scooter offline if there's less than 40% of battery in the scooter itself, because we don't qualify that as a scooter that people can get anywhere with. Okay, like we feel that 40% is a good safety. But as we're exploring this system, we realize that actually there are still people who want to rent the 40% scooters, so we might be relaxing that a little bit. But we definitely can't have scooters out there with just like 10% or 20% battery. That makes no sense.
So when you said offline, it means that the customers will not be able to see the cars when it's offline.
Yes, correct. So that's something that confuses our customers a lot too. Like when they look at an application, they go, "There's a scooter, I don't see it on the app." A lot of times it's because that scooter is not available for rental for multiple reasons. Maybe not enough battery, maybe it needs other services. Okay, like for example, if a mirror is missing, which does happen, or if one of the brake handles is bent from falling over, these sort of things, they need to be fixed before the scooter will be allowed online again.
One other question. If someone has an accident with the scooter, are they obliged to report that to you, or do they just park that and get another scooter? What do they do?
They should report that. Up till now, our customers have actually been very good at reporting issues with our scooters. We're not, at this point in time, we're a very friendly company. We refund a lot of fees to scooters, to our users. Okay, so this actually became an issue with our system design because we didn't expect the volume of refunds we would need to do. They're not, again, it's 25 NT per rental. It costs me more than 25 NT to sell the service to one customer. So from our point of view, it's not that much effort to refund the user on the ride. But we try to work with the user to see what the best method of getting everything done is. Some of our users, they ride outside the area and they just can't, the scooter runs out of battery. So we have to send a truck out or someone with a battery out to bring the scooter back. Officially, we say we're going to charge the user on these fees. Unofficially, we haven't charged that many users, maybe less than 40%. Okay, so we're still trying to be a friendly, nice company. Okay, so that's what we've been trying to do. Yeah, so we can only inspect the vehicle during every battery swap. Okay, so which means there might be 2 or 3 people ahead of you that have used the vehicle. And we have had customers that walk up to the scooter and say there has been damage done to the scooter. Usually it's not by a user. Usually it's by like a tree branch or some other scooter that crashed, that hit it or something like that, trying to get into the parking space. So they'll report these things ahead of time.
Notice an impact when you through the data.
Yes, so we will red flag and blacklist customers. So we have very few blacklist customers in our service. Okay, the good thing about operating in Taipei or even in Taiwan is that the population's, Taipei is a very polite, it's a very good society to start these types of startups. I heard a European service that started up, when they started, they lost something like 300 helmets in the first week of operation. That is crazy. first, I don't understand why people want to steal our helmets. This is a problem that actually a reporter asked me ahead of, like, when we first launched. They're like, what if people steal the helmets? I'm like, okay, well, to be honest, our helmets are not that expensive. They're exactly. So first, our helmets are cheap. Second, we made sure that our logo is actually baked into the helmet. There's a layer of clear coat and paint on top of it, so you can't get rid of that logo easily. It's not just a sticker. So if, you know, for the cost of the helmet, if you're really willing to ride your own scooter with our logo on your head, that's fine. Okay. Yeah, most of the free giveaways we give away are more expensive than our helmets. So.
Any last minute questions? One more question. Who wants it? No one? Okay, thank you so much, Jay. Let's give him another round of applause. We have food to your left. We even got some 水煎包. I don't really know how to say that in English, but it's basically like a bun with meat and like veggies inside. So please enjoy yourselves.